Hi, what's up? It's kind of weird how it just goes right to the picture. I need to do an animation or something. Get an animation done. All right, hey guys. This is Tara Devlin. Thank you for hanging out. Unapologetic liberal talk on our Tarabuster Tuesdays. How's it sounding? I see you, Susie. Thank you, Susie, for jumping in the chat room at youtube.com over at the Political Voices Substack. Just making sure you guys can hear me here. It seems a little low in my headphones. So let me know how it is when there's like a 10-second delay. Okay, where do we begin? Thank you, Charlie from APS Radio News. We begin as we begin all shows by thanking Charlie for keeping this show going and growing all these years. Thank you, Charlie. Check out his channel over APS Radio, and you can just turn on APS Radio, listen to classic rock and oldies all damn day. Sometimes you need that, right? Just to escape from the madness. And okay, let's just dive in because we only have an hour. Tarabuster Tuesdays are an hour, and got some good news about this show. We will have guests coming up soon. I don't know about next week, but our amazing Bella from, and you might know her from Stephanie Miller, is going from the Stephanie Miller show. She'll probably be a guest on the show here too. Not just Stephanie Miller, but Bella. But Bella's gonna book some guests for our show too, for this little old show. So that should be good. We should, of course, we'll get the Political Voices stable of talent, and also we'll see who else we can get. That'll be really cool. So I appreciate that. So the show should be getting much more interesting. It won't just be me for the entire hour railing. And then if you really want that, we have Fridays as well. We do have guests on Fridays too, but we there's 2 hours on that show. So yes. All right, let's start. I don't know where to begin. And right before I was a little late getting my stuff together here, so hopefully all the buttons are pushed correctly. Because once again, and if you guys know, I'm on Substack at tarabuster.substack.com. I'm spending most of my time on Substack as far like my social media time, because it's a good place. I like Substack. There's standards there. There seems to be. But we've had a recent inundation of trolls. And one troll in particular. If you were watching the show on Friday night when Hal Sparks was a guest, there was a troll that was in the Twitch chat room. I'm not sure if he made it over on YouTube. But he's relentless. And, I'm not against people who have different opinions, of course, but maggots bring nothing to the table, and that's all this person does. And it doesn't matter how many times you correct him, and I'm assuming it's a him because, I don't know. I'm just assuming. I don't know. I can't imagine if it's a woman. It's, my God. Not that, I guess I'm being sexist saying that, but that somebody, this is their mission. This person keeps creating multiple accounts. As soon as you smash that account, they create another account, just for the whole sole purpose of trolling and making the experience on my private chat. Because if you're a subscriber, you could participate in the subscriber chat. And many people do. So I hope you subscribe to my Substack. But this troll's sole purpose is to make the experience, is to sully the experience for others. They don't add anything to the conversation. They don't bring anything to the table, and it's fascinating to me. I study the Trumpanzees like Jane Goodall studied the apes, and I still can't crack the code. But I think they're miserable. I can't imagine chimpanzees behaving like this, right? But there's to spend one's limited lifespan as a troll, right? As somebody whose sole purpose is to make the experience other people have in a conversation, to make that upsetting, to sully that, to basically walk into the middle of a polite conversation or a dinner party and just take a big dump on the middle of the table. That's what they do. This is very sick. And it's like what they did on January 6th. They invaded our citadel of democracy and smeared the walls. There's a picture of Nancy Pelosi's desk with a pile of human waste on it. This is who they are, But this is all because the worst people among us have been empowered. They've been emboldened. And frankly, I'm sick of it. That's what got Renee Good murdered. That's what got, it's the same thread. It's Tamir Rice. It's Philando Castile. It's George Floyd. It's now Nicole Good. And who's next? But we can guarantee there will be a next time, because just think about the fact that the man who murdered Nicole Good, what's his name? His name is Jonathan. What's his name? Jonathan. Name him. Say his name. Somebody on the chat will tell me. Can't remember his last name off the top of my head. It should be blazoned into my brain. Murder Nicole. But just like we say her name, we should say his name. And he got a taxpayer-funded moving service. So there's not enough money in this country for health care, for guaranteed sick leave, for living wages. But there's enough money for the regime to move. Oh, Jonathan Ross. Thank you, guys. Yes, thank you, guys. To move this murdering piece of wasted human DNA to an undisclosed location. Because and this is right out of the Nazi playbook, too, by the way. In fascism, if you know anything about the history of the Third Reich, and I really encourage everyone to brush up on it now. And if you want a crash course, watch that. There's a documentary. It's called The Abyss. It's 10 episodes. It's absolutely phenomenal, and it's really a great crash course in the rise and the fall of the Third Reich. And they use contemporaneous accounts, and it's absolutely chilling and definitely pertinent to what we're up against. But in the one of the hallmarks of Nazi mindset is professional victimization. They're the victims. No matter what they do, they claim the mantle of victim while being the perpetrator, which is how what we see with with the billionaires, with the fascists, with the maggots in the halls of power. They're always under attack. They're like the Christian nationalists, these fascists, that they're only 78% of the population, Christians. I don't know how they can endure being so oppressed, but in their worldview, they're under attack. Everyone's under attack. You're attacking them just by living. You see, if you're a gay person, you're attacking a Christian nationalist just by your mere existence. So but when we saw that video of Jonathan Ross murdering Nicole Good in cold blood, without batting an eye, I mean, that's what's so disgusting. I mean, the whole thing is disgusting, of course, but without taking a pause. He doesn't seem upset about it. He doesn't seem torn up. He reached in, he murdered her, shooting her in the head for, I guess, committing the crime of being a bitch. Because that's how he put the period on the end of that sentence, right? Fucking bitch. How many women? And it reminded me of just the way the words are used, to put people in their place. The N word or whatever other bigoted or misogynist assault that's always used against people who don't know their place, quote unquote. So fucking bitch, get in your place, and that's what the maggots are all on Fox News, spending their time justifying the murder of an American citizen, a woman who just dropped off her 6-year-old, but they're running, of course, the propaganda, because Fox News is not news, it's propaganda, and all over Fox News, it's justifying the unjustifiable. I don't know how they show up at work every day. It takes a real level of detachment, I suppose, or true believer, because that's Jonathan Ross. Jonathan Ross apparently is a big Trumpanzee. I'm sure you're not surprised. He's notoriously flying his made in China Trump flags. And of course, how do you get to the position where you pull your gun, you have a phone in one hand and you pull your weapon in another and reach into someone's car and shoot her in the head without batting an eye? Shoot her 3 times. Shoot into this open window 3 times. He leaned in to the open window to make sure, I suppose, he finished the job. And not having any care about that he incapacitated Nicole Good and turned her car into a missile. These are the people, they're supposed to be keeping our communities safe. But it is what Karen on the chat said. It's inhumanity. It's absolute inhumanity. But we have the inhumanity in America. I'm so sick of it, and it all ties together with the troll on Substack and then other social media platforms. And please keep an eye out for him. He might be, I'm sure. I mean, I can only block him so fast, right? But this is what's been going on for years. It's not just Trump. Trump has, like Henry Wallace said, exploiting how can we recognize the American fascist? The American fascist can be recognized by their deliberate perversion of truth and fact. That is Trump, of course, and that's the Maggotville. Doesn't matter what we see with our own eyes. They're the victims. They are the ones under attack. They're keeping America safe. And it is what I've been saying for years. Back when George W. Bush was campaigning, right? You never hear Democrats campaign on, we're real America. You never hear that. You hear Barack Obama and other Democrats say, there's no red America or blue America. There's only one America. It's the United States of America, right? And conversely, we hear Republicans for generations dividing us along every fissure of disunity, every difference every distinction without a difference, really, right? And back in the day, I was talking about it, how George W. Bush campaigning on, he's representing real America, or we're not like those Massachusetts liberals or New York liberals, that's what Ted Cruz said, right? New York values. Those are New York values. That's all they do is pit this country against each other. They never wanted a United States, except for when our blue state dollars prop up their poorly run red states, which I'm here to tell you, I'm sick of that too. Find your bootstraps. Unfortunately, I get it. There are good people in the red states. There are normal people in the red states, and they do need a lot of help. But stop voting for your own demise, for Christ's sake. Whatever. I'm just so sick of it. I'm sick of the inhumanity. I'm sick of the merch, drinking liberal tears, right? That's the other thing. This is not normal. No country can survive. As Lincoln said, a house divided amongst itself cannot stand. Well, what do you think Republicans have been doing for 30, 40 years? When they campaign against New York values. What's New York values, Ted Cruz? This is what, he said this years ago. What's New York values? Running into the World Trade Center to try to save somebody? While a plane that the so-called president, well, I suppose, you could say he was sleeping on the job, letting the United States be attacked. Right? But during that time, I always would talk about, could you imagine if Al Gore were president on 9/11, we would never hear the end of it. How Al Gore let the United States be attacked, how he was, how he fell down on the job. Instead, that you never heard that from Democrats, unfortunately, and we should still be talking about it. Instead, what did we all do? And I'm old enough to remember, of course. I lived through that period, and I live in New York. I saw the Twin Towers fall with my own eyes, and I joined the National Guard to serve my country. Try to be part of the solution, right? Try to be somebody that when someone needs help, I could be of assistance, really. And that's, I believe, the American way. But they have so divided this country. I mean, to have someone, this Jonathan Ross asshole, he looked at Nicole Good, he wanted to murder her. He wanted to take her life for what? For committing the sin of not being intimidated by him? And this is the Republicans, right? Who was the one that just said recently? It doesn't matter. They're all like one amorphous mass of America-hating goo. But he said that if you don't want to get killed, you want to keep your life, you should obey. These are the don't tread on me guys, aren't they? Right? I thought they were all about freedom, but they don't know nothing about freedom, right? They're freedom for me, not for thee. That's what it's about, because this is what gets me. When I think about Trader Trump, he wants Greenland, right? This asshole can't even run a goddamn casino, and unless it's into the ground. But he wants to take over Greenland. Why? Riddle me this, guys. Why the hell would anybody in Greenland want to leave the protectorate of being part of civilization, right? They get what is here? Let me see. I wrote a list here. Well, Trump has made America worse. Blah 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 blah. Let me see. Yeah. Is the cult? They're not satisfied with turning the United States into a Christian nationalist failed state. Now they're gonna try to turn Greenland, and it's all for Trader Trump's ego, of course. He's a disgusting waste of human DNA that is unfit to lead a drunken conga line, much less a modern nation. But apparently they're floating all different ideas, including giving every Greenlander $100,000. I'm hearing different reports between $10,000 and $100,000 for the people of Greenland to really abdicate their freedom to this armed madhouse, right? Of this divided states of malfunction. So he wants to acquire Greenland, but Greenlanders will never fall for this bribe, this stupid transactional bribe. I mean, maggots might. That's how stupid they are. You see, they think it's all like, because we hear this all the time. Oh, America, we pay so high tax. Oh, they pay high tax. We pay high taxes here, but we get nothing for it. You see, we would pay a little bit more in taxes, but we would have freedom. You see, that's freedom. Being able to go to a doctor when you're sick, being able to take a vacation, being able to take a sick time off for being sick, going to school without leaving an university as an indentured servant to the banks. That's freedom. And then the freedom to get an abortion, for one thing, to have your doctor and yourself and your family make decisions over your body and your health without a big, filthy, fascist maggot sticking his big, filthy, fascist maggot nose into your private medical decisions. And every time I mention abortion, let me mention yet again, because I really want the Democrats to start taking back the pro-life moniker, as we should take back patriotism and take back Christianity, that's for sure. Republicans aren't any of these things. They're not Christians, I wish. Thank God John Fugelsang wrote that book, The Separation of Church and Hate. You should check it out if you haven't. It's a great book. And it's completely, its time has come. We need it. Talk about perfect timing. But because they're not Christians, if only. I wish they were Christians. We wouldn't have to fight them over health care. We wouldn't have to fight them. They wouldn't be trying to kill Americans. Every time they get into power, the American people needlessly die. This is not me talking at, just being hyperbolic. This is a demonstrable fact. So, for $100,000, the people of Greenland, they know better. They know that. They understand that freedom is the power to shape their own society, not as a license of a billionaire grifter, right, to redraw borders or whatever he wants to do, or to to buy their loyalty. They know that even with the challenges, Greenland, we all have challenges thanks to Republican policies, thanks to conservatism. Climate is a big problem, but the people of Greenland and the Danes, they have social and they have democratic institutions, very strong democratic institutions and social protections that are worth more than anything that this filthy fascist Republican Party is offering American workers. Americans get nothing. We pay, what do we pay, right? We're paying our taxes, and what do we get? We don't get maternity leave, paternity leave, sick leave, unless you are in a state that now guarantees some level. Here in New York, we get 5 days sick leave. But that's not out of the goodness of any conservative heart. 5 days is a joke if you have an actual sickness, if you really need time. The fact is, the people of Greenland have the freedom to be human. They have the freedom to be frail, to need help. This is what it means to be free. Being in this together is freedom. And Republicans, they're like babies who think, I could do it myself. I'll do it myself. It reminds me of my little niece. When she was little, I'll help you tie your shoes. Oh, no, I'll do it myself. And then, a minute later, she's like, hey, Aunt Tara. But she didn't know that, my sister and my former brother-in-law, who they're divorced because, he's a Republican, so, he was cheating on her, so. Yeah, what's an oath, right? No, I'm not saying that Democrats don't have problems in relationships, but he's a piece of shit, though, okay? But, a kid, it's like the Republicans are like bratty adolescents who are like, Ma, leave me alone. Ma, I can do it myself. I don't need you. And then they invite their friends over there like, man, and they show off for their friends. And as soon as they get into any trouble, who do they call? Mommy and daddy, right? Help me. This is like Republicans. They want all the benefits of civilization. They don't want any of the responsibilities that we have to each other, especially. I mean, that's what it is. They want a strong social safety net for themselves. They want to like we're seeing in everything that's happening. They want those Obamacare protections. They want the subsidies, right? But they all voted for their own demise. They voted for the people that cut their lifelines, that make them slip further and further down on the ladder all the time. It's incredible. And to me, I feel like it's missed opportunities for Democrats to get in there and explain it to them. When these maggots are like, oh, I can't afford this, and I lost my health care and all this, the fact that these people, because I see it all on the Reddit page, the leopards eating my face Reddit page, and they, I see it. They're all, they're like, oh, now I can't afford my, whatever it might be, my medicine, and why are you voting for Republicans in the first place? She's like, I voted for Trump 3 times, and now I don't know. I'm on social security. I get food stamps. My husband's on this and that. My kid has special needs, and and they vote Republican. I voted for Trump 3 times. That is really a mystery for the ages. And it's a missed opportunity for Democrats. The fact that this person would vote for Republicans and they owe their entire existence to Democrats is disgusting. And I'm sure they have "Let's Go Brandon" bumper stickers on their car, or FJB, or libtard, and they can't even say the name of the Democratic Party, Democrat Party. And meanwhile, what do Republicans do for them? Not only do they rob them of their social safety net, rob them of their peace of mind, causing stress. That's what Republicans do. All they do is stress people out. They don't offer anything. And on top of it, they rob the American people of their serenity, of their decency, of their morality. They poison people with hate and division and distractions. And I mean, we're all suffering from PTSD, especially seeing what we saw in Minnesota with Jonathan Ross murdering Nicole Good in our own, right before our very eyes. Wait, I'm getting a message from Andrea. The troll is back. Oh, Jesus. Oh, don't mention it on air. Sorry, too late. Son of a bitch. This is what I'm talking about, you fucking son of a bitch. Oh, boy. Yeah, anyway, and while I do this, while I block this fucking asshole again and again and again, now his name is Nazi from New York. I guess that's supposed to be me again and again and again. Now his name is Nazi from New York, because I said I was from New York again and again and again. Now his name is, and yeah, I mean, but I'm somebody that wore the uniform of this country, but this little prick, what does he do? What does he do for his country except poison it with hate and stupidity and ugliness? And, I mean, we can't expect anything more from them, as my father always said. And ugliness. We can only expect grunts from pigs. We can't. Yeah, there we go. Report. Spam. Here we go. So, Sorry about that, Andrea. Goodbye. Oh, brother. All right. Yeah, but next time you send me a message, I will know not to read it on air. Oh, brother. Oh, what was I saying? Oh, before, and actually, I went all over the world before I went, before I pointed out the fact that because we were talking about abortion, that the American people, the fact that they don't know that Democrats, that the Democratic policies reduce the abortion rate is another, I believe, missed opportunity for Democrats, and I hope that they listen. And I hope that they listen to this show and others like it, and they take back the mantle of pro-life, because Republicans are not pro-life. They're pro-death, as we know. They cheer death. They sneer at death. They love death. And when Republicans are in power, the American people needlessly die. Oh, shit. That's Tara Jr. Get off my camera. He just pulled the fucking camera down. All right, go lay down. Go lay down. You hear him? Go lay down. That's the producer. Come here. Come here, mommy. Be nice. No wrecking the show. Okay, relax. No wrecking the show. Yeah, but anyway, so whenever Republicans are, in fact, right now, after Republicans got rid of after the fall, they call it the fall of Roe. That kind of annoys me, but it is the fall. It's not the fall. It's the Republicans. After Republicans stuck their big, filthy, America-hating noses into a woman's medical decisions, private medical decisions, the abortion rate is up in the country. And not only that, it's the dead women. So Republican policies don't just make more abortions, they make more needlessly dead women. I mean, when I think about it, when you calculate the cost of voting Republican, it is incalculable. The grief they cause, the pain, the suffering in families, the stress, all the time. I think about when, during COVID, because the baboon was the absolute worst, because he sucks at everything. He sucks at being a human being, and as we know, but he doesn't know how to govern, because he doesn't want to govern. He wants the trappings of politics. He wants the trappings of the office. He just doesn't want any of the responsibilities. Just like Republicans want all the benefits of civilization, but none of the responsibilities we have to each other. And so what was I saying? I just got lost. I was looking at the feed. But when Republicans' policies are in effect, the abortion rate goes up, and it's up now in red states that have destroyed that where they have taken freedom away from families and communities. I mean, it really is disgusting. Because what actually reduces the abortion rate are policies that tackle economic stresses like income, living wages, education. So if you really want to reduce the abortion rate, you would vote Democratic. So anybody truly pro-life would vote Democratic. And I'm just so sick of listening to maggots call themselves they take this mantle of being pro-life. They take the mantle of patriotism. They hate patriots. They're not patriots. We saw this fucking mass fascist piece of dirt murder somebody. That's not patriotism. Patriotism is, leaving no one behind. We don't leave people behind. That's Democrats. That's normal people. That's progressives. Normal people don't leave people behind. We don't drink liberal tea like that. Like I'm not drinking the tears of these morons. You know, these assholes are selling merch, drinking liberal tears. Who wants to drink the tears of their fellow Americans except people who hate America? Anybody? I mean, really, like these maggot trolls that bring nothing to the table. They, have a different point of view. Fine, have a great, whatever. Prove it. But they can't. So it's just being a dick, just being awful and horrible, and that's who they are. They get off on it. And as I always say, suckers are born every minute. Trumpanzees are living proof. As we see another, I don't know if you saw this, the Trader Trumps, they're selling a, what do you call it, a phone? Wait, hold on a second. Where is this? Well, their phones over, what was it, nearly 600,000 Trump phones. I bet you that asshole got a Trump phone. What a poor bastard. Suckers are born every minute. Nearly 600,000 idiots. Maybe it's the Trump Network vitamins rotting their brain. The non-FDA approved Trump Network vitamins. The Trump University, the scam degrees that make them so susceptible to stupidity. So after months, this $499 phone, this Trump phone, remains nowhere to be found. I wonder, is anybody going to get a refund? Let's see. If I could... oh, that's another story I want to do. I got to keep an eye on the time here. Trump Mobile's $499 gold smartphone still hasn't shipped months after launch promise. Well, what do you expect? Okay, this is a con man, a lifelong con man. So it makes sense that the Republican Party would have an actual con man as a standard bearer, because their entire policy platform is a grift. Everything they run on is bullshit. They're not patriots. They're not pro-life. They're not pro-family. Everything that they claim to be, they're not Christians. Everything that they claim to be, I could give you a zillion examples of how they're not. You know, they want to be judged on what they say, not what they do. They think that the majority of Americans are dumb enough to vote for them, like the Trumpanzees, who I guess they vote for them because they hate the same people. You know, that let them eat hate is the Republican policy. That's their motto, really. And that in itself is a case in point on how they hate America. You know, because people who hate America don't behave like that. You don't want to divide people. You don't want to rip your communities apart. You want people, e pluribus unum is our original national motto. That to me seems like a pretty progressive blueprint to build upon. And that's what the founders left us with, except maggots have never liked the system that the founders gave us, or they're not, you know, they hate America. They're tearing it apart. That's what Project 2025 is. They are destroying the liberal age of enlightenment, which birthed the American Constitution. And that's why J.D. Vance gets funded by Peter Thiel, who also funds this other asshole, Curtis Yarvin, who's a legit open fascist, and writes they all belong to this, I guess, ideology, you call it. It's called the Dark Enlightenment. It might as well be called the Anti-Enlightenment. It's the same thing. You know, the Dark Enlightenment. Like, go fuck yourselves, you fucking goddamn ghouls. The Dark Enlightenment. Why the fuck would Greenland want to join us? oh yeah, unless they're evil, unless they're stupid. No, I'm sorry. I'll keep my freedom, social safety net. Let's see what benefits Greenland gets. Greenland. I mean, like days off and stuff. Should have looked this up earlier. Days off, social safety net. We know. I mean, the Nordic countries are the happiest places on earth because they understand what it means to be happy. We're only sharing this blip of time together, and we band together as humans because we are interdependent and interconnected. That's our species. That's how we were made. And, if you don't like that, go fuck off to the woods, like the Unabomber. You know what I mean? But these maggots, they don't even have the integrity of the Unabomber to go make a cabin in the woods and live off the land, because they want to turn on their tap and they want that nice clean water to come out to make their coffee so they can sit on their government researched and developed internet machine, thanks to taxpayer money, right? And troll people and try to upset people's days, because this is what they do. And it must be really terrifying to them, knowing the gnawing knowing that when they leave this mortal coil, the world will be better off without them. I hate to say it. When you leave, when someone who offers nothing, who does nothing, who contributes nothing, and worse than nothing, you know what I mean? It's not just that they contribute nothing, they contribute ugliness and hate and stupidity. And that, I suppose, is why they're so hateful and motivated to bring people down to their level, bring normal people down. Like, well, we're trying to make sure that maggot idiots don't needlessly die without health care, and that they get a living wage, and that they get days off and maternity leave, paternity leave, and retire in dignity, in peace, security, and dignity. They're, bringing nothing. They're bringing nothing. Oh God, but they want that too. Trust me, I've talked to them. I've talked to maggots when they were teabaggers. I was in Washington, D.C. with Mike Malloy while the Supreme Court was arguing, they were arguing Obamacare, and it was up in the air. Of course, we didn't know which way. Of course, it would be much worse now please, I mean, we couldn't get Social Security through. Are you kidding me? But they're all like, oh yeah, everybody should get health care, just go to the emergency room, and every stupid idea that they've ever had is always on display. It's always recycled. Go to the emergency room. That's why Obamacare was necessary, because we pay more, get less, leave millions out, have the most expensive health care in the world. That the 16% of the GDP goes to propping up people who have to go to the emergency room for care, and then it's too late. That's why the for-profit health insurance racket kills 35 to 55,000 Americans needlessly every year. But maggots, these good Christian maggots, they don't care. That's good. Hey, more good American. The only good American is a dead American, I suppose, right? Drink those liberal tears. God in heaven. But yeah, so I don't know how dumb you got to be to order a Trump phone, but good luck. This is like when the con man was when we voted for Biden, when he slunk out of the White House, when Traitor Trump was unsuccessful in his coup against democracy. When he said, he tried the mob, he tried calling up the Secretary of State of Georgia, I need you to find me the votes to win and all that. And he left the White House, not for lack of trying to stay, which he will try again. of course, because he's a dirtbag piece of shit who hates America and is confused by America, really. And wait a minute. Fuck. So, what was I saying? Oh, yeah, they had this. You see, this is happening a lot now because I have 10,000 windows open. But they made this, emergency super PAC. Put your money here, right into his rapacious hole, into the rapacious black hole of need and greed that he calls a personality. And help me save America, stop the steal. All this other, the PAC, come and help us. Patriots, come help us. Save America from decency, dignity, democracy, and humanity. From peace and security. Anyway, to make a long story short, the maggots donated to Trader Trump, the lifelong con man. And you'll not be surprised to know that the con man, Trader Trump, didn't even have the decency to set up a fake PAC, okay? It didn't exist. The Save America PAC wasn't even a thing. It was just something they put on the fundraising letter where they tricked assholes into repeat donations or repeat charges, instead of opting into having your credit card dinged every month. You had to opt out. It was automatically checked. So what a piece of shit that is. They're so disgusting. But, okay, I want to play this. I'm seeing how time is a ticking. And I want to play this video that I came across. Because, honestly, like you and me, I don't know about you. I should speak for myself, but I'm pretty fucking sick of the cruelty, the inhumanity, the indecency, the stupidity, the hate. And I came across this video of John Cena. It's a public service is it a public service announcement? It was a video that this group No Labels created, and No Labels, put that on the shelf. I mean, I'm not a big fan of No Labels because I think they were spoilers in general, and mostly Republicans. But here's a video I saw, and this was released 10 years ago. Hold on, I lost it. Here we go.
Patriotism. There's a word thrown around a lot. It inspires passionate debate and is worn like a badge of honor, and with good reason. Because it means love and devotion for one's country. Love. For a word designed to unite, it can also be pretty divisive. You see, there's more to patriotism than flag sequin onesies and rodeos and quadruple cheeseburgers. Patriotism is love for a country, not just pride in it. But what really makes up this country of ours? What is it we love? It's more than just a huge rock full of animals like cougars and eagles, right?
Yeah.
It's the people. Do me a favor. Close your eyes for a second. I want to try something out. Picture the average U.S. citizen. Think about it. How old are they? What's their hair like? How much can they bench? You got one? Okay. So chances are, the person you're picturing right now looks a little different to the real average American. There are 319 million U.S. citizens. 51% are female. So first off, the average American is a woman. Cool, huh? Is that what you pictured? 54 million are Latino, 40 million senior citizens, 27 million are disabled, 18 million are Asian. That's more people in the U.S. than play football and baseball combined. 9 million are lesbian, gay, bi, transgender, more than the entire amount of people that live in the state of Virginia. Around 10 million are redhead, 5.1 million play ultimate frisbee, and 3.5 million are Muslim. Triple the number of people currently serving in the United States military. Almost half the country belongs to minority groups. People who are lesbian, African American, and bi, and transgender, and Native American, and proud of it. We know that labels don't devalue us, they help define us. keeping us dialed into our cultures and our beliefs and who we are as Americans. After all, what's more American than freedom to celebrate the things that make us, us? I mean, it's stitched into the stars and stripes of this country. From the Constitution to Gettysburg, to our motto, E pluribus unum, from many, one. It's even in our country's name, the United States. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, disability, sexuality, race, religion, and any other labels. Because the second any of us judge people based on those labels, we're not really being patriotic, are we? So let's try this one more time. Close your eyes. Picture the average Joe or Joan or Juan or Jean-Luc. The real people who make America, America. And this year, whenever you feel the urge to don those star-spangled shorts, set off fireworks the size of my biceps to show love for our country, remember that to love America is to love all Americans. Because love has no labels.
So that was an ad done in 2010, 10 years ago. And when I saw it, I was like, it really broke my heart because, I mean, the fact that he's also mentioning trans people. I would imagine that if somebody made an ad like that now, they might leave trans people out just to be safe, right? A lot of Democrats are falling into that trap, I believe, when we should be the ones standing up for trans people even more now, standing up for this oppressed and often misunderstood minority group of our fellow humans, fellow Americans. So we have a duty, I believe, to stand with them because, you know, the American people we are a multi-racial liberal democracy. And Republicans hate that. One of the first things that Traitor Trump did, this was in the first maladministration, they changed the mission statement of the Immigration and Naturalization Service and took out the first sentence that said, America is a nation of immigrants. They took that off the mission statement. And right from there, we know what they're all about. So I believe that, you know, we are the true patriots. Liberals are the patriots. Progressives, Democrats. We're the ones, I mean, the conservative Democrats to the progressive Democrats, you know, and everyone in between. But we're the ones actually carrying the mantle of the revolution. We're the ones who are capable emotionally, mentally, you know, spiritually, of living in a society, a diverse society that the Republicans loathe. They hate, you know, Republicans have declared war on woke, but what I think is, yeah, we have to pick up the mantle of woke, because what is woke? What is woke? It's nothing but the latest iteration of their attack on being politically correct, right? That was another thing. Oh, I'm not PC, which means that you're just a dick. You're just somebody who, I mean, is a child. You're a juvenile. What skin off your ass is it to call somebody what they want to be called, right? But they can't. Republicans can't even call the Democratic Party by its own name. But the Republican Party, now prove me wrong, they have spent the last decade and more defining itself not by what it builds, by what it destroys. On the night of Obama's inauguration, when we were all, marveling in the fact that America had taken a leap forward, that in the world we had progressed. The world was looking at us, and for myself, I was so blown away that, wow, in this racist ass country, we actually did elect someone who isn't, we elected someone who has darker pigment, which is it was a, what do you call it? It was an achievement in itself, especially for Obama. He was and is the personification of the American dream. Someone who wasn't born into wealth, raised by a single mom, rose up on his own talent and ambition and intellect to become the president of the United States. Went to school on scholarships and through hard work. And then instead of going on to some fancy, I guess, law firm, which he could have done, he went and he became a community organizer, which the Republicans vilified. Remember how much they mocked that? Because we're not supposed to care about the betterment of our community, much less our country. You're in it for yourself if you're a maggot. That's freedom. Freedom for maggots. And before they were maggots, they were called teabaggers whatever they were before that. Freedom means being a dick. Freedom means having all the benefits of civilization for themselves, but none of the responsibilities we have to each other. Freedom means to a maggot is getting to say the N-word without any consequences. Without getting canceled or having a reaction. That's what freedom means to them. It's not like the freedom that the entire civilized world enjoys, like being able to go to a doctor when sick. I just saw this video on YouTube about there was a woman, there was this sheriff who started stealing, it was just like one of these true crime videos. This sheriff was stealing from another police officer who got into a really catastrophic, motorcycle accident. He wasn't able to work anymore. He was paralyzed. It was just horrific what happened to him. But, even though he was a police officer and had good health insurance, right? Had the union and the health insurance, he was $400,000 in debt with medical bills. He was losing his home. He had needed help for the rest of his life. But because we live in this fucked up armed madhouse where freedom isn't the freedom to go to a doctor, it's the freedom to call somebody the N-word or misgender someone, then they had to do all these fundraisers, GoFundMe, and they had all kinds of benefits and whatnot. And the long story short is that one of the officers in charge of this benefit pool, because the guy had cognitive problems, he couldn't take care of himself, he couldn't take care of his finances anymore, and she offered to do it. She was the captain, they all trusted her, and she was stealing from it. That's really what happened. But when I was watching this story, I was, of course, not surprised, but disappointed to not hear in any of the comments, not a once, that this is unconscionable, that only in America could this happen. Only in America would someone have to have GoFundMes. There wouldn't be for medical care. Someone who served their community as a police officer, had this horrible thing happen to them, and and that's the nature of health. You're fine one day, you don't know what's going to happen from one day to the next. And the next day you could need $400,000 in medical bills. But oh my Lord, I just hear the music. I'm of the opinion that we got to bring back woke. We remain woke because woke equals patriotism. Woke means paying attention to injustice, and rather than pretending it doesn't exist, it means being capable of living in a society that acknowledges our history, our equality, our human dignity. It means being a decent American citizen. And we're in this together. That's the problem for Republicans. Decency is anathema to their agenda. And I have to ask, how much longer, how much longer are we going to take it? Legally and peacefully. How much longer? Guys, thank you so much. There's the end of the music. Thank you so much for hanging out. I really appreciate your time. Yeah, I will post that John Cena video. I'll put it up on, I think I could do it. It's, how long is it? I don't think they have a limit on Substack. I'll put it up on my Substack in a couple of minutes once we hang up here. And yeah, okay, my friends. I know, it goes by so fast, man. I had another story I wanted to talk about, but I'll have to get, I need to get like tighter. What I should do is just like pick a couple of stories, just make sure I stick to the time. I don't know, like 20 minutes. But we'll be having some guests soon enough, so that'll be good too. Yes, and Friday night. We have Friday night. Okay, this Friday, 8:30 p.m. I don't think there'll be a guest at that time, but we will have each other. All right, my loves. I do appreciate you hanging out. Tell your friends. Please subscribe to my Substack. That helps. If you can become a paid subscriber, that helps. I got to get those numbers, those Substack numbers up. That really helps too, because the more, it goes up, the more people find the show and find, the work that we're doing here together. And I don't consider myself doing this on my own. We're in this together. All right, guys. Yeah, all right. That's it. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you, Charlie from APS Radio News, as always, for keeping the show going and growing. We will win. We will win. I mean, when we watch that video, I don't know about you, but like, doesn't that just feel better? And we're on the right side of history. We're on the right side of decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. We stick together, we win. Thank you for hanging out, my friends. Thank you so much. Support all my stuff. And my name is Tara Devlin. I will see you on Friday night.